The stars looked cold and far away through the thick glass of the royal ship. Princess Kira stood alone near the window, her silver skin catching the dim lights of the corridor. Her violet eyes watched the darkness outside. She had been standing there for almost an hour now, thinking about things she could not change. The ship was called Eternal Light. It was the biggest and most beautiful vessel in the royal convoy. 5 other ships traveled with it, all of them carrying soldiers and servants and important people from the Velian Empire. They were crossing a dangerous part of space called the Disputed Zones. Many bad things happened here. Pirates attacked ships. Rebels hid in asteroid fields. But the royal convoy had strong weapons and many guards. Nothing could hurt them. At least, that is what everyone believed. Kira did not feel safe. She felt tired and sad. She had just come from peace talks on a distant planet. The talks had failed. The war would continue. More people would die. More children would lose their parents. More planets would burn. And there was nothing she could do about it. She was the 3rd child of the Empress. Her older brother Siajin would become emperor one day. Her older sister was already married to a powerful general. Kira was just the spare princess, the one nobody needed. The one whose job was to smile and wave and look pretty at ceremonies. Her opinions did not matter. Her ideas were ignored. When she spoke about peace, her family laughed at her. Compassion is weakness, her mother always said. The galaxy respects only strength. Kira turned away from the window and started walking. She did not want to go back to her fancy rooms. She did not want to see her servants or her guards or anyone who would bow to her and call her Your Highness with empty voices. She wanted to be alone. She wanted to be somewhere real. Her feet carried her down deeper into the ship, past the royal quarters, past the officer decks, down to the lower levels where the air was not so clean and the walls were not so shiny. This was where the workers lived. And the refugees, Kira had fought hard to let refugees travel on the convoy. Her mother had said no. Her brother had said it was dangerous. But Kira had begged and promised, and finally they agreed to let 100 refugees ride in the cargo areas. Just 100 people out of thousands who needed help. It was not enough. It was never enough. The refugee section was dark and crowded. People slept on thin mats on the floor. Children cried. Old people coughed. The smell was bad. Kira felt shame. These people were suffering on her ship. She was living in luxury just a few floors above them. She was about to turn back when she heard something strange. A man's voice, low and calm, and then a child's laugh. A real laugh, not a sad sound or a cry. Kira moved closer, staying in the shadows. She saw a man sitting on a cargo box. He was human. She could tell by his brown skin and dark hair and the way he sat, relaxed but ready to move at any moment. Humans were like that, always alert, always prepared for danger. The Empire used many humans as soldiers and mercenaries. They were good at fighting, and they did not cost much to hire. This human had a scar on his face that ran from his eyebrow to his jaw. His clothes were simple and worn. He looked like he had lived a hard life. But his eyes were kind as he looked at the 2 children in front of him. A girl, maybe 8 years old, and a boy who looked about 6. Both human, both very thin. The girl had messy black hair and dirty clothes. The boy had the same hair, but his eyes were empty and far away, like he was looking at something nobody else could see. The man was sharing his food with them. He broke a protein bar into 3 pieces and gave the biggest pieces to the children. "Eat slow," he said. "If you eat too fast, your stomach will hurt." The girl nodded and took small bites. The boy just held his piece and stared at it. "He does not talk," the girl said. "Not since our parents died." The man nodded slowly. He did not say he was sorry. He did not say everything would be okay. He just reached out and put his hand gently on the boy's head. "That is fine," he said. "He does not have to talk. He just has to eat and stay strong." Kira felt something warm in her chest. She had watched many people in her life. Politicians and generals and nobles. They all talked about honor and duty and sacrifice. But this human, this scarred mercenary in dirty clothes, was showing more kindness than all of them combined. She stepped out of the shadows. The human saw her immediately. His body changed in an instant. One moment he was relaxed. The next moment he was ready to fight, his hand moving toward the knife on his belt. Then he saw her silver skin and violet eyes, and he stopped. He knew what she was. Everyone knew what the Velian royal family looked like. "Your Highness," he said. His voice was flat. Not afraid. Not respectful. Just flat. Kira looked at the children. The girl was scared now. She moved closer to the human, hiding behind him. "Who are you?" Kira asked the man. "I work security for the convoy. And these children?" Doyon did not answer right away. Kira understood. The children were not supposed to be here. They were stowaways. If anyone found them, they would be thrown off the ship at the next station. Or worse. "They are with me," Doyon finally said. "Is that a problem, Your Highness?" Most people would never talk to a princess like that. But Doyon did not seem to care about her title. He cared about the children behind him. He was protecting them. From her, Kira almost smiled. "No," she said. "It is not a problem. What are their names?" The girl peeked out from behind Doyon. "I am Yuna. This is my brother Taiwu."
"Hello, Yuna."
"Hello, Taiwu." Kira crouched down so she was at their level. The boy did not look at her. The girl watched her with suspicious eyes. "Are you hungry? I can arrange better food for you." "Why?" Yuna asked. "Why would you help us?" It was a good question. Kira thought about it. "'Cause someone should," she said. That night, Kira arranged for the children to get a small room near the worker quarters. Nothing fancy, but it had beds and clean water and a door that locked. She made sure no one would ask questions about them. And she asked Doyon to come to her quarters. He came alone, without guards. He stood in her beautiful room and looked around with no expression on his face. The golden walls and soft carpets and expensive art meant nothing to him. "Why did you help those children?" Kira asked him. "You could have reported them. You might have gotten a reward." Doyon shrugged. "They needed help. I had food. It is not complicated. Most people would not do what you did." "Then most people are fools," Kira laughed. She could not remember the last time she had laughed. "Tell me about Earth. Tell me about humans. Why do you want to know?" "Because I am tired of talking to people who only tell me what I want to hear. I think you will tell me the truth." Doyon was quiet for a long moment. Then he sat down on one of her fancy chairs without asking permission. Nobody had ever done that before. Kira liked it. "Humans are not special," he said. "We are not the strongest species. We are not the smartest. We do not live the longest or have the best technology. But we are stubborn. We do not give up. Even when we should give up, we keep fighting. It is stupid, really. But it is who we are." Kira sat down across from him. "That does not sound stupid to me. That sounds brave. Brave and stupid are often the same thing. Tell me more. Tell me about your life. How did you become a mercenary?" Doyon looked at her with careful eyes. He was deciding whether to trust her. Kira waited. She did not push. She just waited. "I grew up on a colony planet," he said finally. "Small place. Poor place. My father worked in the mines. My mother grew food in a greenhouse. We did not have much, but we were happy." "What happened?" "Raiders came. They killed everyone. I was 12. I hid in a hole in the ground and listened to my family die." His voice was flat, like he was talking about the weather, but Kira saw something dark in his eyes. Pain that had never healed. "After that, I joined the military. Learned to fight. Learned to kill. When my service ended, I became a mercenary. It is all I know how to do." Kira felt tears in her eyes. "I am sorry. Do not be sorry. It was a long time ago. I have made peace with it. Have you?" Doyon did not answer. He just looked at her with those hard, tired eyes. They talked for hours. About Earth. About the Empire. About the war and the refugees and the endless cycle of violence. Doyon told her things nobody else would say. He told her that the Empire was cruel and corrupt. He told her that the rebels were just as bad. He told her that most people in the galaxy just wanted to live in peace, but the powerful would not let them. When he left, Kira stood by her window again. But this time, the stars did not look so cold. She felt like she had found something, a connection, a truth, maybe even a friend. The next morning, a message came through the ship's communication system. A civilian ship was damaged and sending a distress signal. They needed help. Kira's advisors said it was too dangerous. They said the convoy should not stop. Her brother said they should ignore it and keep moving. Her mother's hologram appeared and told her to remember her duty to the Empire. But Kira thought about Yuna and Taiwu. She thought about all the other children who might be on that damaged ship, scared and alone. She thought about what Doyan had said about humans. About being stubborn, about not giving up. We will help them, she said. That is my order, the advisors protested. Her brother argued. But Kira stood firm. She was still a princess. She still had some power. The convoy changed direction and flew toward the distress signal. Far below, in the refugee quarters, Doyan felt the ship change course. He looked up at the ceiling with narrowed eyes. Something felt wrong. His instincts were screaming at him. Danger was coming. He found the children and made sure they were in their room with the door locked. Stay here, he told Yuna. Do not open the door for anyone except me. What is happening? The girl asked. Do not know yet? Just stay here. Promise me. I promise. Doyan walked away, his hand resting on the knife at his belt. He did not know what was coming. But he knew it was bad. The convoy flew closer to the damaged ship they did not know. They were flying into a trap. The damaged ship floated in space like a dead animal. Its lights were off. Its engines were silent. It looked harmless and sad. The royal convoy slowed down and moved closer to help. Doyan stood on the observation deck with other security officers. He watched the damaged ship through the window. Something felt wrong. His body knew it before his mind did. The hair on his arms stood up. His heart beat faster. He had felt this feeling many times before, in many battles. It was the feeling of danger. Something is not right, he said to the officer next to him. It is just a broken ship, the officer said. He was Velian, tall and thin with pale blue skin. He looked bored. We will send a rescue team and then continue our journey. Look at the damage pattern, Doyan said. Those marks are not from an accident. They are from weapons. Someone attacked this ship, the officer laughed. You humans see enemies everywhere. Relax, mercenary. This is the royal convoy. No one would dare attack us, is exactly what they want you to think. Not. But the officer was not listening anymore. He walked away, shaking his head at the paranoid human. Doyan stayed at the window, watching, waiting. He was right to be worried. The damaged ship exploded with light. Not the explosion of something breaking, the explosion of something waking up. Hidden panels opened on the ship's sides. Weapons came out. And from inside the ship, dozens of smaller attack vessels flew out like angry insects from a nest. The attack happened so fast. The first shots hit the convoy's escort ships. 2 of them exploded instantly. Bright orange fire bloomed in the darkness of space. The others tried to fight back, but there were too many enemies. They came from everywhere. From the damaged ship, from behind asteroids, from the dark spaces between stars, where they had been hiding and waiting. Alarms screamed through the eternal light. Red lights flashed in every corridor. The ship shook as weapons hit its shields. People ran and shouted and cried. Servants dropped the things they were carrying. Guards ran to their stations. The beautiful royal vessel had become a place of chaos and fear. Doyan ran. He pushed through crowds of panicking servants and confused soldiers. He had to find Yuna and Taiwu. Nothing else mattered. The corridors were full of smoke now. Fires burned in some sections. Dead bodies lay on the floor. Doyan jumped over them and kept running. In the throne room, things were even worse. Rebel soldiers had already broken through the main doors. They wore black armor with a burning star symbol on their chests. They called themselves the Burned Stars. They hated the Empire. They wanted to destroy everything it had built. Their leader walked into the throne room like she owned it. Her name was Hai Jin. She was human, like Do-yoon, but her eyes were cold and dead. She had seen too much war. She had lost too many people she loved. Now she felt nothing except anger and the need for revenge. "Where's the Empress?" Hai Jin asked. Her voice was calm and quiet, which made it more frightening than if she had shouted. The royal guards tried to fight. There were 20 of them, the best soldiers in the Empire. They raised their weapons and charged at the rebels. But Hai Jin's soldiers were ready. They cut down the guards one by one. Prince Seojin, Kira's older brother, drew his ceremonial sword. It was a beautiful weapon, made of rare metals and covered with jewels. He had never used it in a real fight. He had only practiced with trainers who let him win. "You will not touch my mother," Seojin said. He stood in front of the Empress, trying to protect her. He looked brave. He looked like a hero from an old story. Hijin did not even look at him. She just nodded to one of her soldiers. The soldier raised his weapon and fired. The shot hit Seojin in the chest. He looked down at the wound with surprise on his face. Then he fell. The prince of the Velian Empire died on the golden floor of his own throne room, his blood spreading across the expensive tiles. The Empress screamed. It was a terrible sound, full of pain and horror. She tried to run to her son, but rebel soldiers grabbed her arms. More guards rushed forward to save her. More shots were fired. More bodies fell. In minutes, it was over. The Empress was captured. Most of her guards were dead. The throne room that had been the center of imperial power was now covered in blood and bodies. Kira was not in the throne room. She had been in her quarters when the attack started. When she heard the alarms, she ran toward the throne room to find her family. But halfway there, she saw the rebel soldiers in the corridors. She saw them killing everyone who wore royal colors. She hid in a small storage room and pressed her hands over her mouth to stop herself from screaming. She listened to the sounds outside. Gunfire, explosions, people begging for their lives. Then silence, which was somehow worse. When she came out, the corridor was empty, except for the dead. She walked slowly, her feet stepping in blood. She saw faces she recognized. Servants who had brought her breakfast, guards who had protected her since childhood, all of them dead now. She found a guard she knew well. His name was Minho. He had served her family for 20 years. He used to tell her stories when she was a little girl. Now he lay on the floor with his eyes open and empty. Kira knelt beside him and closed his eyes gently. "I am sorry," she whispered. But Minho could not hear her anymore. Kira kept walking. She did not know where to go. She did not know what to do. She just walked like a ghost through the ship that was supposed to be her safe home. She found the throne room. The doors were broken. She stepped inside and saw her brother's body on the floor. She saw the blood. So much blood. Her beautiful white robes were stained red now. Her silver hands were shaking. "Brother," she whispered. She knelt beside Seojin and touched his face. He was still warm. "I am sorry. I am so sorry." A noise behind her made her turn. Rebel soldiers were coming. She could hear their boots on the metal floor. She ran far below. In the refugee quarters, Do-yoon heard the fighting getting closer. The rebel soldiers were moving through the ship, clearing every level. They were killing anyone who might be a threat, and soon they would reach the refugees. He found Yuna and Taiwu in the small room Kira had given them. The girl was holding her brother tight. Her eyes were wide with fear, but she was not crying. She was being strong for Taiwu. "We have to go," Do-yeon said. "Now, what is happening?" Yuna asked. "Bad people are attacking the ship. I will keep you safe. But you have to do everything I say. Do you understand?" Yuna nodded. Taiwu said nothing, but he stood up and held his sister's hand. His empty eyes were a little less empty now. Danger had woken something inside him. Do-yeon led them into the corridor. The lights were flickering now. Smoke filled the air. The ship was dying around them. He moved carefully, checking every corner, listening for footsteps. They were almost at the maintenance tunnels when they ran into trouble. 4 rebel soldiers stood at the end of the corridor. They saw Doyen and the children. They raised their weapons. "Stop there," one of them said. "Nobody moves." Doyen pushed the children behind him. He had no gun. He had only a small knife in his hands. The soldiers had armor and rifles. It was not a fair fight. "Let the children go," he said. "They are not important. They are just refugees." The rebel soldier laughed. "Nobody leaves. We have orders. Everyone stays on this ship until Commander Hyjin says otherwise. These are children. They have nothing to do with the Empire. I do not care. Orders are orders." Doyen looked at the 4 soldiers. He calculated the distance between them. He measured the angles. He planned his attack in his head. Any smart person would surrender. Any smart person would wait for a better chance. But humans were not smart. Humans were stubborn. He moved. The first soldier did not even see him coming. Doyen crossed the distance in 2 heartbeats and broke the man's neck with his bare hands. The body fell before anyone could react. The second soldier tried to shoot, but Doyen was already moving. He grabbed the soldier's arm, twisted it until the bone snapped, and took his weapon. Then he used the soldier as a shield while he shot the third one. The 4th soldier ran. He turned and fled down the corridor, screaming for help. Doyen let him go. He did not have time to chase people. "Come," he said to the children. Yuna stared at him with huge eyes. She had never seen anyone move like that. She had never seen anyone kill like that. It was terrifying. But it was also the most amazing thing she had ever witnessed. This human had killed 3 armed soldiers in seconds. With his bare hands and a knife. "Are you okay?" she asked. Doyen looked down at himself. He was covered in blood. None of it was his. "Not yet. I am fine. Keep moving." They went deeper into the ship. Doyen found an old pipe on the floor and picked it up. It was heavy and solid. A good weapon did not need to be fancy. It just needed to hurt people. More soldiers found them. This time, there were 6. Doyen fought them in a narrow corridor where their numbers did not help them. They could only come at him 1 or 2 at a time. He broke bones. He crushed skulls. He fought like an animal, like a monster, like something that had forgotten how to be afraid. Blood sprayed on the walls. Bodies piled on the floor. The rebels had heard stories about humans. They knew humans were dangerous fighters. But stories were just words. Seeing it was different. Seeing a single human tear through trained soldiers with nothing but a metal pipe and pure rage was something they would never forget. If any of them survived, most of them did not. When it was over, Doyen stood in the corridor breathing hard. His shoulder was bleeding now. A plasma bolt had burned through his jacket and skin. It hurt badly. He ignored it. Pain was just a signal. You could choose to listen to it or not. Princess Kira appeared at the other end of the corridor. Her white robes were covered in blood. Her violet eyes were empty with shock. She looked at the bodies on the floor. She looked at Doyen standing among them like death itself. "You," she said. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Your Highness." Doyen lowered the bloody pipe. "Are you hurt?" Kira shook her head slowly. "My brother is dead. They took my mother. I do not know what to do. I do not know where to go." Doyen looked at her. Then he looked at the children behind him. Then he looked at the corridor ahead, where more sounds of fighting echoed through the metal walls. "We need to leave this ship," he said. "All of us. I cannot leave. My mother is still here. I have to save her. If you go back, you will die. Or they will capture you. Then you cannot save anyone." Kira's hands clenched into fists. "You do not understand. She is my mother. I cannot abandon her." Doyen stepped closer to her. His eyes were hard and cold, but his voice was almost gentle. "Listen to me, princess. Those rebels will not let your mother live. They will not let you live. The only thing you can do now is survive. If you survive, you can fight back. If you die here, everything is lost. But I have to try. I have to do something. Yuna stepped forward. The little girl looked up at the princess with serious eyes. Her face was dirty. Her clothes were torn, but her voice was steady. He saved us, Yuna said. He can save you too. Please come with us. Kira looked at the child. This small human girl, dirty and scared, standing in a corridor full of dead bodies. And still she had hope. Still she believed things could be okay. Please, Taiwu said. It was the first word anyone had heard him speak since his parents died. His voice was small and rough, like something that had been broken and was slowly being fixed. Kira felt tears running down her face. She looked at the children. She looked at Doyon. She thought about her mother and her dead brother and everything she was losing. Then she nodded. Okay, she said. I will come with you. Over the ship's intercom, Commander Hijin's voice echoed through every corridor. Princess Kira, I know you are on this ship. I have your mother. Surrender yourself within 1 hour, or I will execute her. This is not a negotiation. This is a fact. Kira closed her eyes. 1 hour. She had 1 hour to escape, or watch her mother die. No. Doyen said, We do not have time to be sad. We do not have time to think. We just have to move. He started walking. The children followed. And after a moment, so did the princess. Behind them, the throne room burned. The golden walls turned black with smoke. The expensive carpets became ashes. The eternal light was dying, and everything Kira had known was dying with it. But she was still alive. And as long as she was alive, there was hope. That was what humans believed. And maybe, just maybe, they were right. Doya knew the ship better than anyone expected. When he took a job, he always learned the layout of wherever he worked. Every door, every tunnel, every hidden path. It was how he had survived so many years as a mercenary. Preparation kept you alive when luck ran out. He led them through the maintenance tunnels. These were the spaces between the walls where workers crawled to fix broken pipes and wires. They were dark and small and dirty. The air was thick with dust and the smell of burning metal. Princess Kira had to bend down to fit. Her beautiful robes caught on sharp metal edges and tore. Her silver hands became black with grease. Every few minutes, she had to stop and catch her breath. She had never done anything like this before. In the palace, she walked on soft carpets. Servants carried her bags. She never ran or climbed or crawled anywhere. Now she was crawling through dirty tunnels. The human mercenary and 2 orphan children. Her legs hurt. Her back hurt. Everything hurt. But she did not complain. She just kept moving. That surprised Doyen. He had expected a princess to cry about her ruined clothes or demand a more comfortable path. But Kira just followed him in silence, her face pale but determined. Maybe she was stronger than she looked. Yuna held Taiwu's hand and kept him moving. The little boy was still quiet, but his eyes were less empty now. He was paying attention to everything around him. He was awake again. How far to the shuttle bay? Kira whispered. 2 more levels down, Doyan answered. But there will be guards. The rebels know that is the only way off the ship. They'll be waiting for us. Can we fight through them? Doyan looked at his injured shoulder. Blood had soaked through his jacket and was dripping down his arm. The pain was getting worse with every minute. He could still fight, but not for long. Not against many enemies, maybe he said. But we need a better plan. He stopped in a small maintenance room to rest. It was barely big enough for all 4 of them. Pipes covered the walls. Old tools lay on the floor. It smelled like oil and rust. Kira sat on the floor, breathing hard. Sweat ran down her silver face. She had never been so tired in her life. She had never worked so hard just to stay alive. Yuna sat next to her and offered her a small piece of dried meat. You should eat, the girl said. Doyon says you have to eat to stay strong. Ow. It tasted terrible. It was tough and salty and hard to chew. She ate it anyway. She needed the energy. Thank you, she said to Yuna. You are very kind. My mother taught me to share. She said people should help each other. Your mother was wise. Yuna looked down at the floor. She was the best person I ever knew. I try to be like her, but it is hard sometimes. Kira felt a deep sadness in her chest. This child had lost everything, and still she was trying to be good. Still, she was helping others. What had Kira ever done that was so brave? How did you learn to survive like this? Kira asked the girl. You are so young. Yuna shrugged. My parents taught me some things. How to find food. How to hide. How to be quiet. After they died, I taught myself the rest. You learn fast when you have no choice. I am sorry about your parents. Me too. Yuna looked at her brother. Tai Wu was sitting in the corner, staring at the wall. He saw it happen. That is why he stopped talking. But he talked today. He said, please. That is good. That means he is getting better. Kira felt shame deep in her chest. This child had lost everything, and still she kept going. Still, she took care of her brother. Still, she had hope. What had Kira ever done that was so brave? Doyon was sitting against the wall, wrapping his wound with cloth torn from his shirt. His face showed no pain, but Kira could see the tightness around his eyes. She could see the way his hands shook slightly as he worked. He was hurting more than he admitted. Let me help, Kira said. She moved closer and took the cloth from his hands. I have some medical training. All Velian royalty learn basic healing. I do not need help. Yes, you do. You are bleeding badly. If we do not stop it, you will pass out before we reach the shuttle bay. Then we all die. Doyen looked at her for a long moment. His eyes were hard and suspicious. He was not used to accepting help from anyone. He had survived alone for so long. But finally, he nodded and let her work. Kira cleaned the wound as best she could with the limited supplies they had. It was ugly. The plasma bolt had burned deep into his muscle. She could see bone in some places. He needed real medical care, not bandages made from dirty cloth. This will get infected, she said. Probably. Deal with it later. You could die. Doyon smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a man who had faced death many times and stopped being afraid of it. Everyone dies eventually, he said. The trick is not to die today. When she finished, they continued moving. Down another level. Through another tunnel. The sounds of fighting grew fainter behind them. Either the battle was ending, or they were getting farther away from it. Haijian's voice came over the intercom again. 40 minutes remaining, princess. Your mother is asking for you. She wants to see you one last time before she dies. Do not disappoint her. Kira stopped walking. Her hands pressed against the tunnel wall. She was shaking. Tears ran down her face. She is trying to break you, Doyan said. Do not let her. That is what she wants. She wants you scared and weak. That is my mother. They are going to kill her. Yes. And there is nothing you can do to stop it. The only question is whether you let her death mean something or nothing. Kira turned to face him. Her violet eyes were bright with tears. How can you be so cold? Do you not care about anything? I care about keeping these children alive. I care about getting you off this ship. Those are the only things that matter right now. Everything else is noise. But why? Why do you care about us? We are nothing to you. I am a princess of an empire that treats your people like tools. These children are strangers. Why would you die for us? Doyon was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was softer than before. When I was young, my village was attacked. Aliens from a species I never learned the name of. They killed everyone. My mother, my father, my sisters. I was the only one who escaped. I hid in a hole in the ground and listened to my family die. I smelled the smoke from their burning bodies. Yuna and Taiwu were listening. Kira said nothing. Stranger found me the next day. A human soldier passing through. He could have left me there. I was just some dirty kid crying in the dirt. No use to anyone. But he picked me up and carried me to safety. He gave me food and water. He cleaned my wounds. He saved my life for no reason except that I needed saving. Doyan looked at the children. I never forgot what that felt like. Someone choosing to help when they did not have to. Someone caring about a stranger. So now I do the same. Because someone has to. Because that is what humans do. We help each other. We protect the weak. We fight for people who cannot fight for themselves. Kira wiped her eyes. She took a deep breath and stood up straight. Okay, she said. Let us keep moving. They reached the shuttle bay level. Dajin made everyone wait in a dark corner while he scouted ahead. He was gone for 10 minutes. When he came back, his face was grim. 20 guards, he said. Heavy weapons. They are protecting the last working shuttle. Everything else has been destroyed or taken. Can we go around them? Kira asked. No, there is only one entrance to the bay. They know we have to come through there, then we fight. Doyan shook his head. We will not win. Not against 20 soldiers with heavy weapons. I am wounded. You have no combat training. The children cannot fight at all. If we attack them directly, we die. So what do? Wait here until they find us. Give up. I will create a distraction, Doyan said. I will draw them away from the shuttle. When they chase me, you take the children and run. Get to the shuttle. Launch it. Do not wait for me. That is suicide. Maybe, maybe not. Humans are hard to kill. I will not let you die for us. There has to be another way. Sometimes there is no other way. Sometimes someone has to sacrifice so others can live. Yuna grabbed Doyan's hand. No, she said. Her voice was fierce for such a small girl. You cannot leave us. You promised to keep us safe. I am keeping you safe. I am giving you a chance to escape. I do not want a chance. I want you to come with us. You are our family now. Taiwu stepped forward. He looked up at Doyan with his empty eyes that were not so empty anymore. He did not speak, but he shook his head slowly. No, do not go. Doyan felt something break inside him. A wall he had built around his heart, cracking just a little. He had told himself not to care. He had told himself these people were just a job, just a mission. But somewhere along the way, they had become something more. I will try to survive, he said quietly. That is all I can promise. Kira put her hand on his arm. There has to be another way. Think, you are smart. You know this ship. There must be something we have not considered. Doyan closed his eyes. He pictured the shuttle bay in his mind. The entrance, the guards, the shuttle, the walls, the ceiling, the floor, the cargo loading system, he said, opening his eyes. The shuttle bay has a cargo lift that goes down to the storage level. Workers use it to load heavy equipment. We can come up underneath them. They will not expect that. Will that work? It will get us closer without being seen. We will still have to fight, but maybe not all 20 at once. Maybe we can take them by surprise. They moved to the storage level below the shuttle bay. The cargo lift was there, big and rusty, designed to carry heavy equipment. Doyan found the controls and studied them for a moment. I will go up first, he said. When the shooting starts, you bring the children up and run straight to the shuttle. Do not stop for anything. Do not look back. Just run, Kira nodded. Then she did something unexpected. She walked to a dead soldier they had passed earlier and picked up his plasma rifle. She held it awkwardly, like she had never touched a weapon before, because she had not. I am coming with you, she said. You do not know how to fight. Then I will learn. Right now. Today. Doyan looked at her. This princess, who had never done anything hard in her life? This sheltered girl who had servants dress her and feed her and protect her from every difficulty. She was standing there with a gun in her hands, ready to fight. Ready to die? Point that end at the enemy, he said, gesturing to the barrel. Pull this trigger. Try not to shoot me. Kira almost laughed. That is all the training I get? That is all the time we have. The lift started going up. It was loud and slow. The rebels would hear it coming. There would be no real surprise. Just a moment of confusion? That would have to be enough. Doyan held his pipe in one hand and a pistol he had taken from a rebel soldier in the other. Kira stood beside him, her hands shaking on the rifle. They looked at each other. "Whatever happens," Doyen said, "do not stop moving. And do not die. I will try my best. That is all any of us can do." The lift reached the top. The doors opened. The rebels turned to look. Doyen started killing. He moved like water, like smoke, like something that could not be caught or stopped. He shot 3 soldiers before they could raise their weapons. He broke the neck of a 4th with his bare hands. He used bodies as shields and walls as cover. He was everywhere and nowhere at once. Kira fired her rifle. The first shot missed completely. The second shot hit a wall. The third shot hit a rebel soldier in the leg. She kept firing, not aiming carefully, just creating chaos. Just making noise. Yuna did not wait for the signal. She grabbed Taiwu and ran up the stairs to the shuttle bay. She ran past fighting soldiers, and dead bodies, and things she would have nightmares about for years. She did not stop. She did not look back. She just ran exactly like Doyen told her to. The shuttle was there, damaged but still working. The door was open. Yuna pushed Taiwu inside and then turned to look back. Doyen was fighting 6 soldiers at once. Blood was pouring from his shoulder and from new wounds on his chest and legs. He was slowing down. He was dying. Kira was behind a metal container, shooting at anyone who came close. She looked terrified, but she was still fighting. Still surviving? "Come on," Yuna screamed. "Run!" Kira heard her. She ran. A shot hit her arm, burning through her silver skin, but she kept running. Pain did not matter. Fear did not matter. Only the shuttle mattered. She reached the shuttle and threw herself inside. Doyen was surrounded now. The remaining rebels had him trapped against a wall. He was still fighting, but he could barely stand. His legs were shaking. His vision was going dark. Yuna found the shuttle's controls. She did not know how to fly. She did not know what any of the buttons did. But she saw one big red button that said emergency launch. She pressed it. The shuttle's engines roared to life. The door started closing. Doyen saw it. He threw himself forward, through the rebels, ignoring the shots that hit his back and legs. He dove through the closing door just before it sealed shut. The shuttle launched. It flew out of the shuttle bay and into space. Behind them, the eternal light burned. Kira looked at Doyen on the floor of the shuttle. He was covered in blood. His eyes were closed. He was not moving. "Is he dead?" Taiwu asked. It was only the second time he had spoken. Kira pressed her fingers to Doyen's neck. She felt a pulse. Weak, but there. "No," she said. "He is alive. Barely." She did not know how to fly the shuttle. She did not know where to go. She had no plan and no help and no hope, but she was alive. The children were alive. Doyen was alive. For now, that was enough. The shuttle crashed on a small moon that had no name on any map. The landing was rough. The ship hit the ground hard, bounced twice, finally stopped in a field of strange purple plants that looked like giant mushrooms. The engine made a terrible noise and then went silent forever. When Kira woke up, everything hurt. Her arm, where the shot had burned her. Her head, where she had hit something during the crash. Her ribs, where the safety belt had pressed too hard. And her heart, where she carried the memory of her dead brother and captured mother. She forced herself to move. Every muscle screamed at her to stay still. She ignored them. There was no time for rest. Yuna was already awake, checking on Taiwu. The boy had a cut on his forehead but seemed okay. He was looking out the broken window at the alien landscape with curious eyes. Strange blue light came from somewhere in the sky. The air that came through the cracks in the shuttle smelled like wet earth and something sweet. "Are we safe?" Yuna asked. "I do not know," Kira said honestly. "We crashed. The ship is broken, but we are alive." Doyen was the worst. His wounds had gotten worse during the flight. The rough landing had opened them again. Blood soaked the floor around him. His skin was hot with fever. The infection had started already. Kira knelt beside him and put her hand on his forehead. He was burning. His breathing was shallow and fast. His eyes moved under his closed lids like he was dreaming terrible dreams. "We need to find medicine," Kira said, "or he will die." "There is nothing here," Yuna said. She was looking out the window at the empty landscape. Just plants and rocks. No cities, no people, nothing. Kira stood up and made a decision. "Then we will find a way. We will not let him die. Not after everything he did for us." They pulled Do-Yan out of the destroyed shuttle. He was heavy. Kira was not strong, but Yuna helped, and even little Taiwu grabbed his arm and tried to pull. Together, slowly they moved him. They found a small cave in a nearby hill. It was dry and hidden from view, a good place to rest and hide. They put Do-Yun on the soft ground and covered him with pieces of cloth from the shuttle. For 3 days, Kira took care of everyone. She found water in a small stream that ran between the purple plants. She figured out which plants were safe to eat by testing tiny pieces first. Some made her stomach hurt. Some tasted terrible but did not make her sick. Those ones she collected for food. She cleaned Do-Yan's wounds with water and wrapped them with leaves that seemed to have healing properties. She did not know if they would work. She was just guessing. But she had to try something. She had never done any of these things before. In the palace, servants brought her water in crystal glasses. Chefs prepared her food with rare ingredients from 100 planets. Doctors took care of any small illness she had. Now she was crawling in the dirt, collecting bugs to eat because there was no other protein. Her beautiful silver hands were covered with cuts and dirt. Her robes were now just rags tied around her body. She did not recognize herself anymore. Yuna watched her with growing respect. "You are different from what I expected," the girl said one evening. "What did you expect? A useless princess who cries all the time and tells other people to do things?" Kira laughed. It sounded strange in the quiet of the cave. "I cried a lot the first night. When you were sleeping, I cried until I had no tears left. That is okay? Crying is not bad. Giving up is bad. You did not give up." "I thought about it. I thought about just sitting down and waiting to die. It would be easier, but you did not." "No, I did not. Because of you. Because of Taiwu. Because of Dojin. You all needed me. I could not let you down." Do-Yun's fever broke on the 4th day. He opened his eyes and saw Kira sitting next to him, crushing plants into a green paste. "How long?" he asked. His voice was weak and rough. "For days. We crashed on some moon. Nobody knows this place. The shuttle is destroyed." He tried to sit up. Pain made him stop. "Communications. Nothing works. I found some broken parts and tried to build a distress beacon. I do not know if it is working. I am not an engineer. I just connected wires that looked important." Do-Yan looked at her. Really looked at her. Her silver skin was dirty. Her hair was tangled with leaves and dust. Her beautiful robes were now torn rags wrapped around her body. Her arm had an ugly burned scar that would never fully heal. She looked nothing like a princess. She looked like a survivor. "Good work," he said. Kira felt tears in her eyes again. Such simple words. 2 words. But they meant more to her than all the praise she had ever received in the palace. Because he meant it. He was not saying it to make her happy or to gain favor. He meant it. Days passed. Do-Yan got stronger slowly. First he could sit up. Then he could stand. Then he could walk short distances. Then longer distances. Soon he was setting traps for small animals and teaching Yuna how to find food in the strange forest. One night, the children were sleeping, and Kira and Do-Yan sat outside the cave, watching the stars. 2 moons hung in the sky, both bigger than any moon Kira had ever seen. The light was strange and blue. It made everything look like a dream. "Tell me about the burned stars," Kira said. "Why do they hate the Empire so much?" Do-Yan was quiet for a moment. "The Empire destroyed their homeworld. 15 years ago, your mother ordered the attack." Kira felt cold. "What?" "The planet was called Syrah. It had 10 billion people. Cities and farms and families. They refused to join the Empire, so the Empire burned it. Every city, every village. Millions of people died in the first hour. The rest died slowly from radiation and starvation. I did not know. Nobody told me. Most people do not know. The Empire hid it. They called it a natural disaster. A solar flare that destroyed the planet? But Hyjin knows the truth. She was born on Syrah. She was 12 years old when the bombs fell. She watched her parents burn. Kira pulled her knees to her chest. The cold night air suddenly felt colder. So she has good reason to hate us. Yes, she does. Does that make her right? Does that make it okay to kill innocent people? Doyen looked at the stars for a long time before answering. No, killing innocents does not become right just because innocents were killed before. Pain does not justify more pain. Revenge just creates more revenge forever until everyone is dead. Kira thought about this. The Empire has done terrible things. My family has done terrible things. How can I build something new when everything before was built on blood? By being different. By choosing differently. By breaking the cycle? That is all anyone can do. The next morning, their peaceful time ended. Ships appeared in the sky. Rebel ships. The burned stars had found them. How? Kira asked, panic in her voice. They tracked the shuttle's emergency beacon, Doyon said. I should have destroyed it. I was too weak. I made a mistake. What do? We run. We hide. We fight. They ran through the fungal forest. The purple plants were tall, taller than houses, and they provided cover. But there were too many ships. They were landing all around the moon, surrounding them from every direction. Hyjin was not going to let them escape again. Not this time. Doyon found higher ground near a deep ravine. It was a good defensive position. One way in. Enemies would have to come at them through a narrow passage between two large rocks. This is where we make our stand, he said. We cannot win against all of them, Kira said. There are too many. Do not need to win. We need to survive long enough. Long enough for what? Doyon pointed at the sky. I fixed your distress beacon 2 days ago. The real one. It has been broadcasting ever since. Someone will come. We just have to wait. What if no one comes? Doyon looked at her with tired eyes. Eyes that had seen too much death. Eyes that expected nothing but pain. Then we die fighting. But we do not die running. We do not die giving up. We die on our feet with weapons in our hands. That is the human way. Kira nodded slowly. She understood now. This was what being human meant. Not giving up, not ever. Even when everything was lost, you kept fighting, because that was who you were. That was all you had. The children hid in a crack in the rocks. Doyon gave Yuna his knife. If they get past us, he said, use this. Protect your brother. Do not let them take you alive. Yuna took the knife. Her hands were shaking, but her eyes were steady. You better not let them get past you. Doyon almost smiled. I will try my best. I promise. Hyjin came personally. She walked through the fungal forest with 20 soldiers behind her. Her black armor was clean and polished. Her face showed no emotion. She looked like death itself coming to collect what was owed. Doyon stood at the entrance to the ravine. He was still weak from his wounds. He could barely stand straight. But he held a weapon in each hand and his eyes were steady. He was not afraid. He had stopped being afraid a long time ago. Human Hyjin called out. You have fought well. Better than anyone I have ever seen. I respect that. Surrender the princess, and I will let you and the children go free. You know, I cannot do that. Cannot. Or will not. Both. Hyjin tilted her head slightly. Why do you fight for them? The Empire has done nothing good for your people. Humans are slaves and soldiers to them. Tools to be used and thrown away when broken. Why would you die for a princess who sees you as less than dirt? She does not see me that way. She sees me as a person. She sees those children as family. That is more than most people in this galaxy can say. Pretty words. But words do not stop bullets. No, they do not. So let us stop talking. Shanae's eyes flickered. For just a moment, something human showed through the ice. Pain, loss, the memory of everything she had lost when Syrah burned. Then it was gone, replaced by cold determination. "I stopped caring about right and wrong a long time ago," she said. "All I care about now is revenge. The Empire took everything from me. Now I will take everything from them. Starting with their princess, revenge will not bring your family back. It will not rebuild your home. It will only create more orphans like those children hiding behind me. More people with nothing left but hate. I do not care. Move aside, human, or die where you stand." Doyan raised his weapons. "Then come and get her." The rebels attacked. Doyan fought like a man who had nothing to lose. He shot and stabbed and kicked and punched. Bodies fell around him. Blood covered the rocky ground. He was wounded again and again, but he did not stop. He could not stop. Too many people depended on him. Kira fought beside him. She was not skilled. Her shots went wide more often than they hit. But she was brave. She stood her ground and fired at anyone who came close. She screamed with rage and fear and determination. Yuna threw rocks from behind the rocks where she was hiding. Small attacks, but they distracted the enemy at important moments. Little Taiwu held the knife Doyan had given them. His hands were shaking, but his face was calm. He was ready to use it if he had to, but there were too many rebels. For every one that fell, 2 more took their place. Doyan was getting slower. His movements were heavy. His breathing was loud and painful. Blood ran down his arms and legs and face.